Hi and welcome back. This is one of the most important lectures in this course, and in the next minutes I will show you how to download and install Python. And there are many ways how to install Python, and the best and most efficient way is to download and install the full Anaconda installation. So Python is way more than just the Python standard library. And actually the real power of Python and the reason why Python is so popular is that there are dozens or hundreds of add-on libraries and packages for data science, machine learning, and other purposes. And many of these additional libraries, so I guess it's over 100, are already included in the full Anaconda installation. Anaconda is, so to say, the all-around carefree package for everyone seeking to minimize installation steps and the complexity and ongoing maintenance of the system. However, this comes at a cost, and actually the download is pretty large and requires some free memory on your computer. Essentially, Anaconda is a package manager that guarantees that you have the most important libraries and packages installed, and it automatically selects the most compatible versions. And as long as we keep our entire Anaconda installation updated, we don't have to care about different versions of libraries and packages. Alright, now let's go to the Anaconda website, and we can simply open Google and search for Anaconda. And here it is, so let's click here. And let's go to products. So there are different versions, and the good news is that the individual edition is completely free and open source. And let's click here. So there are over 20 million users worldwide that use Anaconda here. And with the full Anaconda installation, you are best equipped to perform your data science and machine learning tasks. So let's have a look here. And for instance, Jupyter is included. So Jupyter Notebooks are actually our coding environment where we will spend most of the time. Then we have the Pandas library for tabular data. Then we have SciPy and NumPy for scientific and numerical computing. Then next we have some libraries for machine learning like Keras, TensorFlow, or scikit-learn. And also for data visualization, we have Matplotlib, Seaborn, and also Plotly here. And we have some libraries for dashboarding and image processing. So now let's go back here. And for some more information, you can go to the documentation. So I open here a new window with the documentation. And here we are in the Anaconda individual edition. And there's a installation guide. So we will go through the major steps, but of course you can also go more into the details here. So feel free to have a closer look here. And here, for instance, we can select installation on Windows, on Mac, and on Linux. And also there's a guide how to update or how to uninstall Anaconda. And also there's a user guide. So getting started with Anaconda, for instance. And now let's close the window here, and let's go to the installation. So the installation here is at the very end. And depending on which operating system you use, there are different Anaconda installers. So for Windows, for Mac, and for Linux. And for Mac, I would highly recommend the 64-bit graphical installer, and also for Linux. And for Windows, we have the choice between a 64-bit and a 32-bit graphical installer. And if you're not sure whether to select the 64-bit or the 32-bit version, you can go to your control panel and have a look at your system. And here the system type for my computer is 64-bit, so I can select the 64-bit variant. So typically the newer systems are all 64-bit. And finally, you can also see that we have the choice between Python 3.7 and Python 2.7. And obviously, of course, 3.7 is the newer version. And of course, I highly recommend to download 3.7. So there's actually no reason to install Python 2.7 unless you are working with some legacy code. But of course, in our case here, we create a new code that is based on Python 3. So essentially, the installation works pretty much in the same way, irrespective if you have Windows or Mac or Linux. And as I'm working here on a Windows machine, I will now download the Windows version here. But before we download and install Anaconda, please note the following. In case you already have another Python installation on your computer, so other than Anaconda, please remove that other installation, because this can cause some negative interferences later on. And this holds true in particular if you are working on a Mac. So now let's start the download, and I click here on Windows, Python 3.7, 64-bit. And actually I'm saving the Anaconda installer on the desktop. So let's click on save. And this can take a while because it's 466 megabyte. All right, we have finished the download. And let's go to the desktop. And here we can find the Anaconda 3 installer, and let's double click. So this is the setup here, and let's click on next. And of course we agree here on the license. And it's recommended to just install for us, so just me. And it's also highly recommended to select the proposed destination folder. So on Windows, it's typically the users folder, and on Mac, the users or home folder. So actually, I wouldn't recommend to change that here. And also here we should select the default setting. So register Anaconda 3 as my default Python 3 installation. And finally, let's click on install. And this can take some time. All right, the setup was completed successfully, and let's click on next. And this is the information that PyCharm, which is a development environment, is available. And here are some more helpful tips, but let's disable it. And let's finish. And with this, we have successfully downloaded and installed Anaconda. And in the next lecture, we will make our very first steps with Anaconda and Jupyter. So hope to see you there. Bye.